Welcome to the DMZ. So this episode we're talking about making movies, right? Of course, we got the holiday season about Danny Mac, the DMZ, Danny Mac Zone. When it comes to making films, there obviously is a problem, right? If you look at the industry, Hollywood dominated the film industry for, it's still dominating it now, right? And so for you, individuals out there that listen to the DMZ, I'm working on a couple of shows. I have my Christmas hat on. It is, the middle of December. I'm really laying out a strategy for 2026. Some of you guys I've got you on a tripod right now, and right below me, I've got my computer because we're setting up for the Mac in the Morning live. We're going to be working that aspect on YouTube. I've reached out to a couple of stations. We may talk about going on some other stations, but right now, I'm not really looking for sponsors or funding because I've got so many things in the spectrum that I'm trying to work on that I need you to come on board with me on as we go forward. You know what? Most of the time, I'm in my Navy SAR, combat, rescue swimmer, special operations, master of martial arts, the master in computer science, focusing on advanced air mobility, right? So others may live. Do more faster so others may live. I've intentionally this month not shaved because there are a couple of things going on. One, it's the end of the year. I'm putting together more of a media reaction to everything. And when I say media, that's where we get into films, right? We get into branding. We get into, if you're interested at all in films, and of course me, the real McQueen, that's kind of the, in the past, right? I've watched, McQueen make movies over in Europe. I watched the Steve McQueen movies. I've seen, the racing. I've seen the Chad McQueen. I've tied with all of the McQueen groups. And a lot of what I look at is what's real. That's why I say real McQueen. What's weird, what's real, what's fantasy. I go back into the movie The Guardian, Kevin Costner and what's his name, Kushner or something like that. And they are they're Coast Guard rescue swimmers. And that's, it's a good plot. It's a good film, and it makes for a good movie. And it should be Navy combat rescue swimmers, because in the day, and I'm going to be working on this. It's in some of my Danny Mac novels. I've got, I got a stack of novels. Here's the one we're working, cleaning up right now. But hold on, this is heavy as shit. Man, this is heavy. So here, a stack of books and novels that I've been working on through the years. And I bring this to you, DMZ, okay? Vanished. But what I'm talking to you about is 2026. Now, I've promised you memoirs coming out, and I've talked about, some, Patriot Force. Patriot Force was one of the first novels that I ever wrote. I just plugged into YouTube for live streaming because I plan on doing Mac in the Morning on YouTube Live, but I've got 23 hours until I can stream. I really don't know what that means yet, but we're going to figure it out. Maybe they're doing some background checking or whatnot. And they'll say, hey, that Navy SAR, he's got, top secret clearance, and he was on Air Force One. He was the lead engineer on Air Force One. I gave you a funky voice because in film, there's a couple of deltas. Delta is a gap between here and there, right? There are a couple of deltas. What's real, what's not. what's reality based, what's not. What is the character real? You bring up people like Steve McQueen. Was he real in Dead or Alive? Was he real in The Getaway? Was he real in Great Escape? No, he was a character, right? He was a character. So if I play my character right, look, man, I can play anybody because I'm a real McQueen. Because I've lived life, right? I've flown multiple flight hours, jumped out of helicopters, been to the battle zone. I was listening to a friend of mine, Davy Jones. I call him Davy Jones, Bob Jones. He's got a radio show down in Corpus. And he was talking about, some real life stuff when he was in Vietnam, real combat. So if we're making films, and it's 2025, turning into 2026, what kind of films do we make? If you're paying attention, you'll notice that I'm a tech guy. Okay, advanced air mobility is my focus. And so when we talk films, I'm looking at all technology. I'm looking at, I've got the story. I'm going to get to that. Don't rush me. I'll show you in a minute. I said, don't rush me. I said, don't rush me. Okay, so I've got a book coming out right now. It's called Mastery. And I'm going to go to martial arts studios and we're going to talk about mastery, right? It's one thing, you join some martial arts school and you want to be a fighter or you want to be fit, right? Because it's a new year. You want some fitness program or you want some self-defense program. So how do you master? Once you gain some skills, you gain some knowledge, you gain some application, you practice sparring a little bit, bam, 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 right? Joe Rogan. That reminds me of Joe Rogan, right? Because, I think he was the guy on Fear Factor, and he's got his own radio podcast up in Austin. What? Danny McQ in Military City, USA. The real McQueen. Some of these people are fake. I mean, they are fake. They've never done really anything. Maybe a couple bouts in the ring, but when it comes to the real stuff, that's what I'm talking about. In today's society, there's going to be that delta. Technology, reality. I'm trying to bring you some of this raw, but I'm a tech guy. I'm going to bring it to you at the latest and greatest iteration of technology. I will use AI. I will use the technology in the films, and I'll give you some raw, and I'll put it together, and we'll stream, and we'll do things like that, and we'll talk about it. But most importantly, I'm trying to teach you a little bit. I don't want you to just get on board and follow. As we move the DMZ, there will be a couple of shows. There'll be the nonpartisan, right down the middle, Unite America, Mac in the Morning. There'll be the films coming out. Yeah, the one I'm working on right now, and this is, it's contingent on a couple of things. It is called Danny McQ Campaign, from the core of Texas, right? From Austin, San Antonio to Corpus. Listen to the log line, right? Navy SAR, Navy SEAL, Master in Martial Arts, Advancing Technology, and Uniting America. 2 candidates. 2 United States congressional candidates running independent. Okay? Why? To bring America together, to be real. Not fake news, and the news is going to give you some crap, I'll say BS, so that we can divide you. Not some tagline that says, may have done this. I'm going to shoot straight, right? Because I'm a shooter. I'm a straight shooter. Well, I really haven't been shooting in a while. But what we need to do in America is work together at elevating America. And so how do I do that, right? Well, I take my experience, I lay it on the map, and I look at what have we done in the past? What was the trend analysis? What would Steve McQueen do? I say that all the time, right? What would Steve McQueen do? Well, Steve McQueen isn't real. I'm the real McQueen. What would I do with the tools? Let's go back. This is the DMZ. The problem is making film. I'm not a filmmaker. I'm a lead engineer on Air Force One, Army Blackhawks, the J-Stars program, Seahawks, Marine Osprey program, Gulfstream G5. I can go on and on about technology, about how to fly aircraft. I've flown many different aircraft. I've certified many different aircraft. So technologically, when it comes to the software engineer guy, the electrical engineering, I'm the avionics guy. When it comes to the tech world, that's my forte. Film is making this shift to where it's my forte. Gaming is making this shift, right? Unreal Engine, which is a game-making software, makes games. You'll see some of the Master Grampy series. And I show you the books. There's, we've got 3 Master Grampies. 2026 is going to be a busy year. But the focus of this DMZ is the problem, making films. There's a lot I'm going to have to learn. I might have to get some fundraising. I might have to do some crowdfunding. I may have to do a lot of things. I've got, several different cameras. My expertise in cameras, I'm a Navy, photo rigger. When I was in the Navy, active duty, my job was avionics systems, anti-submarine warfare, photo rigger, maybe combat rescue swimmer, jump out of helicopters so others may live, right? Maintenance flight chief. I can go on and on, clean the head, You Navy guys know what I'm talking about, man. We do it all. And so, when you're in those positions, you just do. You just get it done, right? I'm sorry. Let me get a drink. So, the problem I'm looking at is making film. Okay? So, I'm not going to go through the process steps of jackets and then the superhero cape yet. But remember, the DMZ is a 3-process thing. I'm not really in the think through it phase yet. I'm still into the problem. Is the problem in films marketing? Is the problem in films filming? Is the problem in films writing? Is the problem in films crewing? Is the problem in films casting? What is the real problem in films? I've been obviously working with Austin, San Antonio, Corpus Christi, Fredericksburg, Kerrville, the film groups, some of which I've been trying to mentor and teach, some of which I've been trying to learn, right? The AEB out of Austin, the Film Commission here in Austin and San Antonio. We started growing a film commission in Corpus Christi. I'm part of that. I'm the one that introduced it to the mayor down there. I said, hey, there is work in films. There is technology in films. There is entertainment in films. There is business in films. And so when we talk about films, the problem is how do we make money? How do we make paychecks with films? Okay? I'm going to continue to work on the problem of this for a while, maybe a little in the 2026 season that I put on my thinking jacket and we talk about the solutions of those problems, unite the entire film package into a problem, and then put on our super cape as we promote it. I'm going to use the model of Danny McQ campaign. The script is about done. A lot of it is going to be AI. A lot of it's going to be green screen, and a lot of it is going to be raw. A lot of stuff on my motorcycle. A lot of action in martial arts. I'm tying together the Danny McQ Blues so that I have the soundtrack, and the soundtracking will go over the sounds. Honestly, I use the Adobe Creative Suites right now. I may use some other things. I use Midjourney. I use several different pieces of AI. And we're going to merge that. I've got a couple of Panasonics. I've got a GoPro and got a couple of cameras for my motorcycle. So I'm going to see how we can make this dynamic and turn it into a political thriller, right? I've got issues. Here are the problem statements, right? Corpus Christi, running out of water. Told you, 10 years ago when I was mayor, what? Prior mayor had, in my opinion, here's how I do that, right? In my opinion, had a land deal with Exxon and was involved in a $10 billion issue, which now they're wanting more and more water. There are environmentals in that area right now, environmental issues, right? With the petrochemical flaming in the sky, with an ammonia plant that they're looking at, with Elon Musk wanting to do lithium processing over outside that area. So big environmental things will be tied into the film. Of course, oh yeah, my son's running for Congress in District 27, for real, independent. And then, you know me, I'm running in District 21, Chip Roy's old district. So reality-based from Austin to San Antonio down to Corpus Christi, 2 congressional candidates. One name, McQueen. Both Navy, both special operators, both master martial artists, both advanced air mobility. Well, this is the DMZ. Looking forward to talking about thinking. Put my thinking jacket on. Don't even know which thinking jacket I need yet. And coming soon, you're going to see the superhero. Okay, because that's what the DMZ is. Now I look forward to you chiming back into the DMZ. Let's get this network going. I'm going to try to create the live stream for Mac in the Morning. We're going to utilize media, and we're going to talk more. But this is the holiday season. Hey, ho, ho, ho. Remember, I have one goal. Do more faster so others may live.